Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title of the video, today I'm going to be telling you about the worst purchases I made in my 20s. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Adebisi. I do tech and lifestyle videos on my channel, and if you like my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and also give this video a like if you enjoy it. But let's just go ahead and get started. The first one that I have is overpaying for a New York City apartment that was literally the worst apartment that I've ever lived in my entire life. So I found this sublet and it was listed at, I believe, maybe like $1,850 or somewhere around there, but I ended up paying $1,800 for a room in an apartment in New York City. And this was a 3-bedroom apartment. So obviously paying that much money is a lot, but that's not really the bad part about it. So what ended up happening was that when I got there, I realized that where the subletter had told me that the apartment wasn't exactly where I thought it was. So I was working in the financial district, and if you're familiar with Manhattan, you know that's on the west side, and my apartment was on the east side. Specifically, it was on the lower east side, kind of like the Two Bridges area, but I was like clear across the other side of where I should be working. The only train, or I guess trains, that went through this one stop was the F and the M train. I would have to take the F train to work. I'd go uptown to I think West 4th, and then I take the A train and start going downtown. So that is how bad, how off the map this apartment was. And it wasn't even the type of downtown where you're like, oh, there's gonna be bars around me, there's gonna be fun things around me. No, it was literally on the cusp of nowhere. And the good thing about it was right across from Brooklyn, so I had a really good view of the I literally always forget the bridges. I don't think, it might have been the Williamsburg Bridge or the Queens Bridge. I don't think it was the Brooklyn Bridge, but I'll insert a picture of what the view looked like. The view was amazing. It was gorgeous. I loved it so much, but the actual location of the apartment and the fact that I had to take 2 trains to get to work, and it literally took me 40 minutes to get to work when I lived downtown, was just oh my God, it literally triggers me. So that isn't even the worst part. So I'm paying $1,800 for a location that sucks, for only having the F train that's right next to me. But the worst part about the apartment was that the other person I was subletting from, I'm not gonna get too much into this because it's not good. I don't want to talk about it. Maybe I'll do a story time on it, but basically the other person that I lived with 2 other people. So I lived with one guy and he was subletting from someone else, and he was really cool, he was really chill. And I lived with another girl, and she was actually a person who was on the apartment, what do you call it, the little, she's actually on the name of the apartment. If you've ever subletted before, you know that people who are in the apartment but they're not subletting to other people, they kind of tend to have territory issues where they feel like they own the apartment, and they just kind of look at you as this random ass person that's in their apartment, which is true, but they don't necessarily they don't feel comfortable with you, so they kind of disrespect you in a way with how they treat your space. So that was really what this girl's issues were. I ended up having a terrible situation with her, and I actually ended up moving literally at the end of the month. My internship was started in June, June 3rd or something like that, and then I ended up moving out June 30th to an apartment in West Harlem, Morningside Heights, because it got so bad with our roommate situation there. And then finally, this still has to do with the roommate, but the last thing was how she kept the apartment. I wish I had photos of how disgusting it was. I took photos and sent them to my friends and family, but she literally had Amazon boxes, just boxes and boxes and boxes in the living room, piled high. The kitchen, disgusting, had never been cleaned, literally hair everywhere. I can't even express to you how disgusting the apartment was and how triggering it was for me to be paying $1,800 and then be staying in the world's most disgusting apartment in my entire life. But essentially I wasted $1,800 on an apartment that was literally the worst apartment in my entire, on a room that was one of the worst experiences of my entire life. So the next thing is something that some people might not know that I purchased, but it's actually the Louis Vuitton clay key pouch. So I bought this 2 years ago. I bought it 3 years ago. Oh my God. Wow, time's flying. So I bought it 3 years ago, and I actually bought it before an interview. So this is just a big old disclaimer. If you ever have an interview or you ever have some sort of big event where you're kind of gonna buy something for yourself if something happens, do it after that thing happens. This was me going into my sophomore year of college, and I had got an interview for a company that I did like a 1-week internship with, and it was an on-site interview. It was my first on-site interview. So I flew to New York, and I told myself, I was like, you know what, if I make it to the on-site interview, I'm gonna buy myself the Louis Vuitton clay, because it's something I'd been looking at for like honestly a couple years. I'd always like kind of wanted it, and I was like, this is it. Like, I'm literally in New York City. Like, I got the on-site, you know, I made it. I'm there, it's 9 a.m. and my interview is supposed to be at like maybe like 11, or like it's supposed to be sometime a little bit earlier, but then I get an email from the recruiter and she's like, hey, your interview actually got pushed back. So it got pushed back, you know, like I think it was like 1 or 2 hours, and I was like, this is it. This is the sign for me to go get my Louis Vuitton clay. So the office was in Midtown, and of course, if you're familiar with Midtown, you know that there's a ton of shopping on Fifth Avenue. So I go to the Louis Vuitton store on Fifth Ave. I end up purchasing it, and I am like feeling good. I'm like, oh my God, like I have the Louis Vuitton clay, and you can probably see where this is going. So I walk back to the office and I go to my interview. I have had a lot of interviews in my life, but this one probably takes the cake for how awful it was. It was just so many levels of bad. I ended up just calling a cab right after I get in the cab, immediately burst in tears. I'm like bawling my eyes out. And then when I got back home the same day, I looked at the Louis Vuitton clay and I was like, now I have a reminder of the interview that I failed. I ended up actually returning it, so I don't have it with me, which is why I'm like talking about it like it doesn't exist, but I have the little like receipt that it came in, as well as the like return receipt. But essentially, if you ever have something like that where you are like going to buy something because something else is supposed to happen, if you have an if condition, basically, don't do it before. And that should be common sense, but like, it was not for me, and I will literally never do that again. So the next one that I have is overpaying for flights in Europe. So last year, oh my God, this year's been so long, I got confused. Last year, 2019, I studied abroad in Madrid, Spain, and while I was there, I traveled to, I think 14 countries, and I don't know what was wrong with me. I mean, I was just in like a very like blissful mindset. I was like super happy, so I like didn't really care about money, and I just got my tax return too, so I was like, you know, happy gal. And I would sometimes travel alone, I'd sometimes travel with my friends, and my friends would buy tickets, plane tickets in advance, and they'd be like, hey, like, they call me Adebs, be like, hey Adebs, like, we're gonna go here, like, you can buy your ticket whenever you want to, blah blah blah, we bought ours already. And I'd be like, oh okay, like I'll wait for the price to go down. Like, I'm so stupid. Like, I literally, if if a flight is approaching the date, like the date that you want to take off, the chance of the price going down, like zero. Like, it's not gonna go down. It's literally always going to go up. So I would just like sit there and wait and be like, wow, it's so high today, and then it would go up higher the next day and I still wouldn't buy it. So I would waste so much money just sitting there waiting to buy plane tickets for absolutely no reason at all. If you ever think that flights are going to go down, which once again, this is common sense, they will not go down. So the last one is something that once again isn't really tangible. Well, I guess it is, but it is spending way too much money on drinks. So when I would go out, I would usually like try and pregame, but sometimes even pre-gaming like wouldn't really help me, or I'm just like a chronically late person, so I would only be able to like pregame like a little bit and I wouldn't really be feeling anything. But once I got to the bar at the club, like I would, for some strange reason, spending money at the club or like at bars just like doesn't correlate with like my budget. That doesn't even make any sense, but basically what I'm trying to say is that like when I spend money at a bar or a club, like it doesn't register to me that I'm paying like $20 for a drink, if that makes sense at all. That is the most I've ever paid for a drink, and the drink was literally a rum and coke, and I really hate myself. I don't mind buying drinks at bars because it's a little more social, but at clubs, usually the drinks are like between $12 to $20 for literally the most mediocre drink. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little more like stream of consciousness, a little more ranty, but if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and if you want to see more lifestyle videos, please let me know, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye guys.